Do you live in a haunted house? So for the last 30 years or more, I've been called to people's houses to help them get rid of unwanted energies or entities. And one thing that I've noticed is, by and large, I would say 90% of these clearings that I do tend to be trapped spirits that either don't know that they have died, or they had died in stressful or traumatic circumstances and their soul energy is trapped. So what I generally would do with a haunted house clearing is talk to the spirits. I'm mediumistic, so I'm able to see and feel and speak to the spirits that are around. Quite often they just want to share their story of the circumstance of the death. Sometimes if it's traumatic, they want to show me what happened, they want me to feel, and sometimes I have to step back from that and watch it as a movie rather than experience it myself if there's been a trauma. But then what I would do is offer the spirit to move on to their place. I quite often explain to them that where they are now, I sometimes need to tell them that they have died, they are no longer in the body. Sometimes I have to reassure them that on the other side they're not going to a burning hell. Sometimes I might open a portal and let them see the loved ones on the other side and gently guide them. So 9 times out of 10, it's just a chat with them, a general discussion, a reassurance. Sometimes I might even hold the hand while they take the transition. And like I say, 9 times out of 10, it's just, you know, a little conversation. Let's move on, explain to them what's gone on. Because when they are in that dimensional space, they might not realize they've died, because when we traverse different dimensions, there isn't time as we know it. So 300 years could seem like yesterday for these discarnate souls. So basically they are souls that aren't living in a body anymore, but they've not made it to the dimensional space where they need to be. They are sort of trapped in no man's land, and this is why they cause havoc in houses sometimes, because they want to get your attention or they want to tell their story. So basically what I do is give them that opportunity to do that, gently guide them on, and like I say, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's all that is required. Now, occasionally we get the poltergeist, we get the demonic spirits, we get the really bad ones. In that case, I would call on my dragon team. I work with dragons, we transmute any negative energy. Again, I would give them the chance, if I can speak to them and they are of creator, I would give them the chance to go. But if they're absolutely causing havoc, then sometimes we banish them with the higher dimensional energy. And this is always for the highest and best, for what the highest and best for all concerned. And I would also add that I always go into any of this clearing work with my armour of God, Archangel Michael, and you know, I treat it as very respectful, because that's what it is. Another thing I've done over the years, I've been to the World War I sites in France, and I've cleared platoons of trapped soldiers there, and that's another thing, you know, mass trapped souls. I might open a portal up and let them all go to the light. Now, some of you watching this might say, oh, but the light's a trap, the light's a trap. That's not the case in my experience. I think that there have been evil entities in the past trying to get people to false reincarnation, but it's my comprehension that that's all been closed down now. The 4th dimensional space where all these discarnates are, I've come to realise is a much better place this last year or so. You know, there's been a lot of people like myself doing a lot of different clearing, and the 4th dimensional energy space is much calmer now. But yes, if you have you know, if you have unwanted energies in your home, remember, you can always say to them, I do not consent, please leave. Just talk to them like some strangers that have walked in your house and you don't want them there. I once lived in a house and it had been in the same family for 100 years, and when I moved in, there was the old resident of the house. They weren't very happy I'd moved in, so I just had a gentle conversation, said that this is a different time scale, please leave, and he left. Simple as that. It's just usually communication, that's what's required. So, you know, it's not necessarily something to be really frightened of at all, but if you don't consent to unwanted energy, tell it you don't consent, tell it to go. You know, it's a very powerful statement, I do not consent. And yeah, that's just my take on haunted houses. Lots of different ways to do it, and that's just the way I do it. Anyway, sending you loads of love. Bye for now.